Since the beginning of my journey with wanting to make money with video editing around 6 years ago, I started scheduling my daily tasks on Google Calendar to have the most amount of productivity possible. And that has been the cornerstone of my success so far. My process so far has been to schedule what I want to do in the day, and then as the day goes by, I update what truly happened. By doing that for years, I managed to know exactly how many things I can strive for, how much time I tend to waste, how much time mundane tasks take me, everything. Thanks to that, I now know with great amount of accuracy how much I can push my body and mind for work, training, and life in general. It allows me to know if I can accept new things and decide what to sacrifice if I don't have time in my schedule for it. But with all of that said, I immediately thought about the concept of working smart versus working hard. Working smart is the only thing that matters, but I only get there by working hard on a consistent basis. I think it's obvious that to be successful is not just about working hard, it's about working smart. In my opinion, the only way to work smart is by working hard first. And the more I work, the faster I'll find that smart way of working that will allow me to leverage myself and achieve my goal. Which gets me to why I want a minimum viable production schedule. For the past 6 weeks, I've managed to write a weekly newsletter without fail. I've had my setbacks and had to work outside of my scheduled work blocks, but I allowed myself to do it because I didn't want to be extremely strict with my schedule just yet. I knew I had time to spare each week if I needed to. And since this was a new pursuit, I didn't want to constrain myself too much. But now, since I've proved to myself that I can sustain this pace of writing without a strict schedule, I know that by creating one, I'll be more efficient and I'll have time to spare to add more things to my plate to move faster towards my goal. At the end of the day, all I want is to reach my goal, and in the fastest sustainable way possible. Never in my life I've had such a clear vision of what I want to do for the next decade. So with that in mind, I'll go over how much it took me to write my newsletters and elaborate a schedule with work blocks that have just the right amount of time to write, film, edit, and post the written newsletter, the video version, and the short videos. So I looked back at my calendar to count the number of hours that took me to write, film, and edit my newsletters. The first 4 newsletters were a little bit all over the place and I didn't do a good job logging all the hours. But I did correctly log the hours for the last 2 newsletters and pay very close attention to how much I distracted myself because I knew at the time that I was going to write this newsletter in the future. So with that said, I'll only use the last 2 newsletters as a reference for how much time it takes me. Here are the averages. For writing, it took me 7 hours, for filming 2 hours, and for editing 3 hours and 30 minutes. I often do not perform to my fullest potential the work blocks and tasks that I schedule, and I fill the time with busy work or I just distract myself. I believe it happens when I know I'll have time to spare in the scheduled work block or task, and there's no real reason to go full throttle. Maybe I do it because if I were to do it as fast as possible and have time to spare, I might feel overwhelmed because that will pressure me to add more things to my plate. And I might not want to face the fact that I don't want to add more things to my plate because it will go against my idea of wanting to produce as much as humanly possible. And by facing that, I might feel disappointed in me for not taking advantage of every single second of my life. But I'll deal with it by solving it this way. I'll schedule the minimum amount of work blocks and tasks that must be followed to a T in order to produce the minimum amount of work that will eventually make me reach my goal. And if there's no time to spare, then I must be doing something wrong and I should be working smarter. So, with that said, here comes my final new schedule. Considering the hours that it took me to write, film, and edit my last 2 newsletters, and that I know I didn't go full blast on those hours, I'll take the chance on this schedule. For writing, I'll have 5 hours, 2 less than what I measured. For filming, I'll have 2 hours, same as measured. And for editing, I'll have at most 3 hours, which is 30 minutes less than measured. The big thing here is that the only way to pull this off is with full focus on the work blocks, which is a skill that I want to develop anyways. No phone, no calls, no texting, no cleaning, no nothing. The only thing I could do that's not what's scheduled in the work block is look through the window and think of nothing. The free time before training and in the evenings is for chores and errands and whatever I want to develop at the time. For example, next week I'll write about building a content creation system that I want to start selling alongside video editing labor. But for me to start selling it, I'll do cold outreach that will happen during that free time. But more of that in next week's newsletter. I don't think I'll have problems with this schedule because I can't go balls to the walls for 2 hours. I rather feel a little bit burnt out after it and have the rest of the day off than accomplishing the same amount of things in double the time just to take it easy but have no time off. I see the free time in the evening as the moment in which I can let go of order for a minute and review my performance on social media, researching, finding new things of doing things, and so on. It seems to me that this schedule is the perfect balance between order and chaos. And that's it for this week's newsletter. If you reach the end of the video, it'll be cool for me to know. I know I'm having very few views, but YouTube is giving me a couple hundred of impressions, so it's on me to make better thumbnails and titles, or at least talk about cooler things. But since I'm talking about what I'm doing, the only thing I could do is do cool things, which I'm trying. So it's just patience and keep doing these videos, these newsletters and videos. But if somehow you reach the end of the video, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy following my journey and this helps in some way right now or in the future if I end up achieving all the things I want. So again, thank you for watching. I like that.